mission of Survive to Thrive with me, Dr. Todd, bringing you tips and tricks daily to just shake your mind up a little bit, to make you think different, to question everything, question anything, and just to be in a different mindset when you spend 10 minutes with me here. And today's going to be no different. My goodness, sometimes we get some revelations. Sometimes there's things that come across that, it's like a culmination of some things that stack. I listened to a mentor again yesterday in a group setting. One of the things he was talking about was just not taking somebody else's words for stuff. And it just kind of just rang, there a little bit, and then just kind of came through. And I didn't really pay much attention to it. I wake up this morning and something comes across, and I'll tell you the story. But the point of this introduction here is something that came across, and this something that came across, it was like, I'm challenging that. Like, I've always known this to be true, or I've heard this for the longest time, and I've known this to be true in my mind, but I'm disagreeing with it right now. And upon meditation and stuff, and just connection and creating some space, I came across this concept, okay? And I'm going to share this with you because it is, for me, freeing. Who knows what it'll do for you? I don't know what it'll do for you, if anything. All right, but I will caution you, if you are somebody right now that doesn't want expansion, doesn't want to try to change, to move in a direction of becoming more and getting greater, then this is not for you. Turn it off right now. It's okay. It's okay. This is just like, hey, I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm content, and I want to stay in my little world, in a little box, and don't listen to this. Because this is going to fire you up a little bit in the aspects of like, what the hell? So part of growing up and part of the learning process, we all go through and we have things that come across and into our lives. And they are either statements, they're what I know to be true as mindsets, they're skill sets that we develop, but mainly these mindsets. And so here's where we're going to talk about is the mindsets. I have always looked at mindsets as one of these things that are set. Like it's granite, like you set concrete, like everything is set, like it is the way it is. And so if you have a mindset, that is what you are. And this is what I grew up with, is just like, hey, it's all about your mindset. You set your mind to this and you can do that. Or if you don't have a good mindset, then it's this. And it's almost like this terminal thing that once we have our ways, once we have our mindset, it is set. It is set in concrete. It's not changeable unless you take a big old, 30-pound sledgehammer, 40-pound sledgehammer and start going to work on. All right? And so I feel like a lot of times we get put into or almost manipulated into doing things based on what we are, like a mindset. Anybody have a picture of a loved one that they remember of, not like a physical picture, but an idea of the way somebody was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever it may be, and you won't let them be somebody else in your mind because you are set on that's who they are. Like, Todd loves blue. Todd loves French toast. And like, because he loves French toast or because he loves blue, he can never be anything different. And that's a mindset, is it not? And so here's a big mindset. For the longest time, I've heard people talk about this rich dad, poor dad concept. Right? Like, so if you grew up with a poor dad, that you actually have a mindset that you are poor. And in order to be rich, you have to change your mindset. You actually have to either grow up in a family that had a mindset of richness, right? Everything was different in your world. So you just know nothing but wealth and abundance and richness. Or if you grew up in a scarcity mindset where you had to scrap and save and scrimp for everything that you had, then you can't be a millionaire unless you change this concept. You have to change your mind fundamentally. Your mindset has to shift in order for you to be, what? A millionaire, multi-millionaire. You can't be in a scarcity mindset. Because if you talk about scarcity all the time, that's what you will create. You create scarcity in your mind. And so here's what I wake up with. I was looking at, to be honest, I love and have loved for the longest time these Glendivagens. If you haven't seen those, it's like a tank. It's like Mercedes makes these tanks, and they're all souped up. They're ready to go. And I'm like, I would take one. And if anybody's ever seen the G wagons, AMG is a company that kind of takes them to that next level, soups them up, twin turbo. Rah, rah, rah. It's like a sports car, but in a boxy SUV kind of looking thing. And so like I'm looking at these, and I'm like, I'm gonna see what it would be like to get one of these. Maybe not a new one, or maybe a used one. I don't know. I'm just gonna look at it. And the first one that popped up is $219,000. I'm like, my gosh, I could get like a Ferrari for that. And this thing is kind of like a Ferrari. Or I could get a Lamborghini for that. I could get a lot of things. I could buy a house, for God's sakes. And so I went through this mindset of like, oh my gosh, who would ever pay that? And all these types of things going into this. And out of that comes this, scarcity mindset. And out of this comes a scarcity mindset of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to afford. I couldn't afford. What could I afford? And we go through this struggle in my mind of like, but kids going to college, so I can't put $219,000 towards a vehicle and all these types of things. All right. And so the rich dad, poor dad, or those millionaires out there would say, hey, you're looking at it wrong. You need to understand that that is a mindset, and that is a vehicle that could actually produce for your business, and we put it on, and so we look at it as an investment if that's what you're doing, and that vehicle would be used for X, Y, and Z, and you invest in your business. Well, I can't make that jump. But here's the concept. It is a mindset that could actually tell me that I could or I couldn't, right? All right? But here's the concept for you today, is often we get wrapped up in these terminal aspects of a mindset where you're not allowed to actually be anything different. And so the challenge for me today was to actually write about this and explore the concept of a mindset. And set, again, just my belief system is like it's set, like concrete sets up, a sunset is terminal, it's over. But with the realization that actually it comes again, the sunset actually is not over, right? It's like 12 hours and that sun will be back up. And so to look at a mindset as a temporary state of being, like hormones or like an emotion that comes through you, it is there for a little bit of time and then it's gone. And you can utilize this. Okay, and so what I'm going to challenge is all you rich dad, poor dad people out there that think that you have to have a mindset to be a millionaire versus going to work and actually doing things and being creative. And that mindset must be of abundance. I get it. I understand. Abundance is everywhere. If we look at it, if you think about the concept of like money, can you go get more money? Yes, you can go produce money anytime. There is more money in the world, for more money in the world than you could ever want, use, spend. Okay, some of you are like, try me. Just try me. I'll try that. I'll take that and I'll go. So go out and get it. That's fine. You go out and get it, but the concept of abundance, just like food. I mean, in America, at least we can go out and get food anywhere and anytime. All right, so there's an abundance of like, when I eat, I don't have to eat like, oh my gosh, this is the last time I'm going to eat. I get that abundance. I understand that. But I also get that scarcity is one of these things like a darkness that is necessary in order to see the light. In order to know light, you have to actually understand dark. Or without dark, you wouldn't know anything different. Light doesn't mean anything without dark, right? Night doesn't mean anything without day. And here's the concept that I want to walk you through is that in this mindset, you can't know abundance without scarcity. And so the biggest, I guess, lie out of all of this, is that you can't just go into abundance without knowing scarcity. And so to embrace scarcity, and I want you to think about this, because this is the tip and the trick, the shift that actually might make a difference in your world today is understanding that in scarcity, you've probably done some of the most amazing things that you've ever done. In scarcity, you've probably moved faster, more intensely towards a direction of what you wanted than you would in abundance. See, in abundance, oftentimes we actually get comfortable. In abundance, we actually sit back and just be like, oh, let's wine and dine and travel. I don't need to create. I don't need to actually work. I don't need to do anything because I have all of this stuff. Until that stuff's gone again. Understanding that that stuff is a resource and it comes and goes. Money comes and goes. If it just comes, meaning coming in your bank account, you will implode. It's a law of nature. You will self-destruct. No, I'm just saying that you can't save all the time. You have to spend it. It's actually an ebb and flow, and understanding this. Okay, but understanding also that you have to have this balance between scarcity and abundance. And in scarcity, you will create and you will work and you will move faster, bigger, and more often than you would in abundance. So why do we have to kill the mindset of scarcity? Why do we actually literally have to try to kill the mindset of scarcity to be in abundance? Versus understanding these are like nutrients that come into our body that are utilized. We can use scarcity for a little bit of time. Because scarcity is cool. Right? Think about it. Any big move that you've ever made, to buy a house, to get engaged. I remember that with my queen. It was scarcity. It was like, oh my gosh, I know she likes me. I know she loves me. And we've had these conversations. But I don't know. I don't know if we're going to go to that next level. What would she say? But I'm going to take the risk in scarcity and say, hey, you're mine forever. Let's go. Do you want to go? And it could have gone either way. There's a point to this. It could have gone either way. But you think about that. You business owners, you once had a time in scarcity. You just said, look, I'm going this direction. I'm going to throw my everyday job to the wind. I'm going to take actually security. I'm going to take that paycheck and throw it away because I don't need it because I'm going after something bigger. Now that's in scarcity, believe it or not. Because you look at it, what if I don't produce? What if I don't make it? What if I don't have the health insurance anymore? I don't have the security of that paycheck. And you throw it all to the wind. And you have to understand that scarcity is part of you. It's what drives you. It's inborn. But it is just a phase, just like you eat good food and it's there and it serves you for a while. But then you got to eat some more again. And so out of scarcity, you can actually go into abundance. And in abundance, you can go back to scarcity and utilize this as a tool. So you don't get fat and lazy in abundance. You stay lean and mean in scarcity and move the direction that you need to go. But understanding, just like a sunset, a mindset actually comes and goes. And you can change that mindset instead of being in concrete. So what we are going to call it now, I'm coining this now, is called a Heartset. Why not live in a Heartset? Because a heart supersedes this. A heart doesn't know abundance. It doesn't know scarcity. It's not that it doesn't exist for that. It just knows what it knows. And it knows truth and it knows love. And when we move in the heart, it's a matter of heart. He had heart. You say this about people in football. Oh my gosh, look at the heart. He just kept going. That team had heart because they actually just kept moving. They just didn't quit until they actually won. We have heart. Oh, that person has heart. They got through cancer. They have a lot of heart. Matters of the heart know no abundance or scarcity. That just knows what it needs. It needs to go a direction. It knows what it wants. And it comes pure. It comes pure. Without abundance, without scarcity. And so what a tip and a trick today to live in your heart and not in your mind, because your mind will manipulate. And man uses your mind to manipulate this. This rich dad, poor dad concept was a manipulation of the man's mind to be able to say, look, there's probably a ton of people out there that grew up in a poorer household. And in order to get to that rich household, in order to do that, you have to kill your mindset. You have to change your mindset versus embracing that mindset of that's what drives you. That's what actually moves you into abundance, is the understanding and embracing that scarcity mindset. If you've never had to want for anything, you don't know what wanting is. You don't know what it's like to be backed up against a wall and have to make a decision no matter what. Like, I gotta move and I gotta go on this direction now, or I'm gonna lose it all. I'm gonna lose my relationship. I'm gonna lose my business. I'm gonna lose my kids. Whatever situation that you've ever been in like that, where you were so scared and in scarcity, like, I have nothing else. You have nothing else to lose, is where the essence of having it all and gaining it all in abundance is. So today's tip and trick is do not shun that mindset. Do not actually get rid of that mindset of scarcity. But don't also live there all the time or live there in an abundance mindset. Get into a heart set to make a difference, to drive with fire and purpose and passion. And you will find yourself living above. Think about it. In your areas, in your body. Last time you had a workout that was from your heart, not of your mind. I got to do 62 repetitions. I'm going to break that down into, certain amount of sets and blah, 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 blah. Just go out and run. And you run because it's just what you are doing. You could care less about how far. You're burning off calories. You're burning off issues and stress that you had of the day. And you just go pound it. Or you go work out because it just feels good. These are matters of the heart. And in a relationship, you've moved in the heart before, but we often get into our minds too often. Right? We get into our minds too often trying to analyze, why would she say that? Why is she acting this way? Versus understanding it from the heart. They mean well. A heart's like, they love. I love. Here's where I'm going. Same thing with your spirituality. Where are you at with that spirituality? Have you made it something of the mind where you just need to show up to church and that's it and get fed by a pastor who probably has no level up on you as far as an understanding of God, but you're actually relying on that person to teach you versus going out and getting it yourself and understanding it from a standpoint of like, hey, this is a matter of the heart. I can feel it. I can feel it. I feel my spirituality. I don't know where it is for you, but the tip and the trick today is to get out of the sets of the minds, understanding that they are temporary at best. Not that they have to be sledged out of your mind with a hammer and hammer and hammer, and you will not be rich until you actually change that mindset, as much as it is the direction of actually understanding that these are temporary in nature and can be used like tools to leverage you into different aspects of life and expansion in any area that you choose. To be able to live a life above, to be able to create a legacy for your family, to be able to actually give more than you will ever get. To move that direction above, not just surviving, but thriving. That's all we got for you today. Again, in love and light, we'll talk to you tomorrow.